All right, diving right in to India today on January 26, 2025, Republic Day. We've got a whole stack of headlines here.
Yeah, should be interesting.
From the Republic Day parade itself to, well, some political surprises. And, even how India's making a mark on the world stage. So quite a bit to unpack.
Well, when you look at the news on a day like this, it's fascinating. You get a real sense of where India is. It's like a snapshot in time.
Yeah. Okay, so let's kick things off with the big event, the 76th Republic Day Parade. 16 states with their cultures, 15 ministries showing their work. It's just this massive display of military might and just the cultural diversity of India.
Yeah, and you can't forget that this year also marks the 75th anniversary of the Indian Constitution. So it's a pretty powerful moment, right, as India reflects on its journey as a nation and how it's all been shaped by this document.
Absolutely. Speaking of shaping the nation, let's talk politics. The YSRCP party is going through a bit of a shakeup. Vijay Reddy just resigned, and he was a pretty key figure in the party, so this is kind of a big deal.
Yeah, no kidding. And the timing is interesting, Jagan Mohan Reddy, the party leader, is currently abroad, so you have to wonder, is this a strategic move? Especially with elections coming up.
Yeah. And speaking of elections, the Delhi Assembly elections are heating up. The BJP just released the last part of their Sankalp Patra, their manifesto. And, well, let's just say they're making some big promises.
Like 50,000 government jobs. And they said 2 million self-employment opportunities. That's pretty attention-grabbing, right? They're really tapping into those voter anxieties, particularly around jobs and the economy.
Right. And it seems like it's a direct response to the Aam Aadmi Party, the AAP, and their leader, Arvind Kejriwal. They seem pretty confident about winning a fourth term, although Kejriwal did accuse the BJP of trying to buy votes.
Yeah, and that's led to some pretty heated back and forths between leaders from both parties at that Chunav Manch, the public forum for debate. And to add fuel to the fire, there's also a complaint against BJP candidate Ramesh Bidhuri for supposedly violating the code of conduct.
So Republic Day celebrations happening alongside some intense political maneuvering. Makes you think about how this might all play out with voters.
Totally. I mean, it shows that politics never really stops, does it? Not even for a national holiday. It's always there, especially during election season.
Right. All right, let's zoom out and look at India on the world stage for a sec. Get this. The NSE India, the National Stock Exchange, is now the 5th largest stock exchange in the world. $5 trillion market cap. That's huge.
Wow, that's not just symbolic. It shows that international investors have confidence in India, right? This could bring in more foreign investment and really boost specific industries.
Definitely. It's a sign that India is a major player on the global scene. And on that note, here's another sign of India taking a firm stance. Tahawwur Rana, who was convicted in the 26/11 Mumbai attacks, he just lost his extradition appeal in the U.S.
So that means he'll finally be brought back to India to face trial for his role in the attacks. It's a big step toward closure for the victims and their families, and it shows India's commitment to seeking justice no matter what.
Absolutely. All right, let's switch gears for a bit. Cricket time. India just beat England in the second T20 International. Pretty exciting game.
Oh yeah, always love a good cricket match. And you know what stood out to me? Young Tilak Varma. His 72 runs, unbeaten, those were crucial for India's win. But what's even more impressive is his overall performance. He's really matured as a player.
I mean, is it too early to say that, though? One good innings?
Good point. I mean, he has been brilliant before, but consistency has been, a bit of a struggle. But this innings just felt different. The way he handled the pressure, the shots he chose, it all just felt more mature.
Interesting. All right, shifting focus now to the Auto Expo 2025. It's all about electric vehicles, flex fuel, CNG. India's auto industry is really embracing sustainability.
It is. And, this aligns with the global push for change to address climate change. But what's really interesting is that India isn't just adopting these technologies. They're actually adapting them for their own specific needs and conditions.
Exactly. Like making affordable EVs that everyone can access, not just luxury vehicles. That's crucial for widespread adoption.
Right. And they're looking at flex fuel, using ethanol from sugarcane, which India produces a lot of. It's smart using existing resources to create a more sustainable future.
For sure. Okay, one last thing before we wrap up this part of our deep dive. Let's talk about a rising star in chess. Gukesh D is now in a joint lead at the Tata Steel chess tournament. He even beat Viswanathan Anand, a former world champion.
That's incredible. Not just his age, but his composure, his strategy. This win against Anand, it's like a symbolic passing of the torch.
Amazing. It's so inspiring to see these young talents making their mark on the world stage. We've covered a lot in this first part of our deep dive. Celebrations, political battles, global achievements, individual triumphs.
And we've just scratched the surface. There's still so much more to explore, from personal achievements to the challenges that India faces.
For sure. Stay tuned for the next part of our deep dive, where we'll delve even deeper into the events shaping India in 2025.
You know, it's just amazing how one single day can tell you so much about a nation. We've seen celebrations, political battles, global achievements, and even those personal stories of triumph all happening on the same day.
Like looking into a mirror, right? Seeing all signs of India. And speaking of seeing, let's talk about that Vande Bharat train trial in Jammu and Kashmir, run on the world's highest railway bridge. It's like a symbol of, well, connectivity and how far India's engineering has come.
Yeah, and it's not just about the bridge itself. This particular Vande Bharat train, they designed it with Kashmir's climate in mind. Imagine the impact, right?
Yeah.
Connecting those remote communities, bringing in more tourism, and even helping with trade in a region that's been so isolated.
Like a whole new chapter for the region. Okay, remember we were talking about the Auto Expo and all those electric vehicles? Seems like this push for cleaner transportation is, well, part of a bigger picture.
Definitely. India is really stepping up in the fight against climate change, not just catching up, but innovating, adapting these technologies to fit their own needs and resources.
Right. And it's not just about the big policies, it's about how people are thinking. There's more awareness now, and that's driving the demand for these eco-friendly options, whether it's electric cars or even just using public transport more.
Exactly. That change in mindset is so important. Real change happens when people embrace it, not just when the government tells them to. And that's what makes India's approach so interesting. It's a mix of policies and people actually wanting to make a difference.
It's a two-way street. All right, quick detour back to politics. That complaint against Ramesh Bidhuri from the BJP, remember, about his election office being too close to a polling station.
Oh, yeah, that was a big controversy. Well, the Election Commission just dismissed it, said there wasn't enough evidence.
Wow, that's sure to get some reactions, especially with everything already so heated in the Delhi Assembly elections.
Yeah, it just goes to show that every little thing, every accusation can become a flashpoint during these elections. And the stakes are so high, not just for the parties, but for the people of Delhi.
Absolutely. It's not just about winning. It's about the future of the city, the lives of millions of people. Okay, let's move from politics to, well, another battle of strategy and intellect. Chess. Gukesh D is continuing to do amazingly well at the Tata Steel chess tournament. He just beat Viswanathan Anand, a former world champion.
That's a huge victory. And what's remarkable about Gukesh isn't just his talent, it's how calm and collected he is, even under pressure. He plays with so much maturity, it's almost like a passing of the torch to a new generation of Indian chess players.
That's a beautiful way to put it. It's a proud moment for India. And this makes me think of another icon, someone whose legacy continues to inspire, Lata Mangeshkar, the legendary singer.
Oh, yes. They just celebrated her 96th birthday. Her voice, it went beyond language, beyond culture. It touched so many people. And even today, her music just feels timeless. It brings up so many emotions, joy, sadness, nostalgia.
Like her voice represents the soul of India. It's a reminder of how powerful art and music can be. Okay, let's circle back to the political scene for a moment. The YSRCP party is still dealing with the fallout from Vijay Sai Reddy's resignation.
Yeah, and he hasn't said anything about why he resigned. So, of course, there's all sorts of speculation. Some say it's a power move, some say it's about internal conflicts. But whatever the reason, it could really change things in Andhra Pradesh.
It reminds you that even with all the big celebrations and elections, there's so much happening behind the scenes. Those personal ambitions, political strategies, it's like a giant game of chess.
And each move has so many consequences, changing the whole political landscape.
Makes you wonder what the long-term impacts will be.
Definitely. It's like trying to predict the weather. So many things could happen. But that's what makes it all so interesting, right?
Have you noticed how some themes keep coming up in our deep dive? Sustainability, technology, politics, and then those amazing individual achievements. It's like India's constantly changing, trying to move forward while also dealing with these complex issues.
It's a dynamic process, that's for sure. And each day brings something new.
Back again for our final look at India on this Republic Day. It's been quite a journey, right? From those grand parades to, well, some pretty heated political moments. From India's economic rise to those personal stories of success. And all in just one day.
It's true. It really shows you how dynamic and, well, how complex India is. And when you look at all these events together, you actually start to see some interesting patterns.
You're right. One thing that keeps coming up for me is how much India is standing out on the world stage.
Yeah, that's a good point. We were talking about the NSE India, becoming the fifth largest stock exchange globally.
Yeah.
That's a huge sign that India's economy is a force to be reckoned with.
For sure. And it's not just about the economy. The extradition of that 2611 convict, Tahawwur Rana, from the U.S. shows that India is serious about justice, no matter how long it takes.
It does. It sends a message that India won't tolerate terrorism. They'll go to great lengths to hold people accountable.
It's a strong message for sure. But beyond these big events, I'm also really interested in the smaller changes happening within India, especially when it comes to sustainability.
Yeah, like the Auto Expo and its focus on electric vehicles and all those alternative fuels. It really shows that India is committed to fighting climate change and having a greener future.
Right. And it's not just about using technologies from other countries. It's about innovating and adapting them to fit India's specific needs.
Exactly. Think about those efforts to make affordable EVs, not just luxury ones. That's key if they want everyone to switch over. And this could even make India a leader in EVs worldwide.
It's true. It's like they're turning a problem into an opportunity, tackling climate change and growing the economy at the same time.
Right. And it's not just limited to technology. Look at the Vande Bharat train project in Jammu and Kashmir. They designed a train specifically for that region's tough climate and landscape. It's about connecting people, boosting the economy, and overcoming all those geographical challenges.
Pretty amazing. But even as we talk about all this progress, it's important to remember that there are still challenges, those tensions that are always there.
Oh, absolutely. All the turmoil in the YSRCP party, those heated debates in the Delhi Assembly elections, it reminds us that, well, political stability is something you have to work at constantly.
And while we can celebrate amazing individuals like Gukesh D in chess, or, the legacy of Lata Mangeshkar, we can't forget about the inequalities that still exist for many Indians.
That's right. It's a good reminder that progress isn't always straightforward or fair. There's still work to do to ensure that everyone has a chance to succeed.
It's like a tapestry, right? With threads of hope and struggle all woven together. And that's what makes India so interesting and vibrant.
It does. So, as we wrap up our deep dive into this single day in India, you really get a sense of all the possibilities, all the potential, but also all those challenges that they're facing. It's a nation that's constantly changing and, well, redefining itself.
And that's what's so great about it, isn't it? It's an unfinished story, a journey that's still going on. There's always something new to discover, something unexpected to learn.
Exactly. That's what I hope you take away from all this, a sense of curiosity and a desire to keep learning more about this amazing country.
So keep those headlines in mind, but remember that they're just a tiny part of a much bigger picture, a story that's still being written.
Keep exploring, and we'll see you next time for another deep dive.